Hello everyone and welcome back to Rogue Trader. In the last mission we finally reached the command center and we had a chance to trade, and I really like the trade system of this game. I can tell you that. And now we are back on the ship and we have some reports of servitors that are malfunctioning more than usually. So we had to do something about them. Let's check in the journal. Yes, we have Magos Pascal. Yes, this is the unusual behavior of servitors should be discussed with the high factotum Janice Dunrock, who is responsible for all assets on board the void ship. Then let's find this Jarnes. The Lord Captain's quarters, and can't go anywhere. That's our guy. A corpulent man in lavish clothes bows before you, not without difficulty. A servo screw whirls over his shoulder while the fingers of his augmented hand rub against the sheaf of paper he is holding, and he regards you with attentive interest through the lens of his magnifying implant. Greetings, your lordship. Journalist Dunrock at your service. Vigdis informed me about a problem with the servitors. What happened? You see, your lordship, the ship's servitors have been malfunctioning of late. They violate protocols, interrupt their tracks, observe crew members for long periods of time, and move erratically with no meaning or purpose. Journalist Dunrock nervously pulls on his dog-sorry frock coat as if it were uncomfortably tight. Had it been a routine technical fault, I would have decided the fate of these servitors myself, but I deemed it necessary to notify you. I do not wish to hide such irregularities from the Lord Captain. If you wish to observe the servitors' unusual behavior before you decide their fate, this can be arranged. The majority of the defective units have been delivered to one of the storage compartments pending your decision. Pascal Hanuman expressed the desire to be present during the inspection should it be carried out. I suppose the expertise of the ST Magos may come in handy. I wish to take a look at these servitors before deciding their fate. As you wish, your lordship. Would you like the engineer prime to accompany you? Yes, Pascal shall come with me. As your lordship commands. When his lordship arrived at the scene, he found the servitors in the same position that they assumed after they had been corralled into the bay, all standing in a long spiral line and facing the center of their strange formation. The moment his lordship crossed the threshold of the bay gate, their bodies jerked into motion, all as one, as if obeying command. The servitors turned to face the Lord Captain. The technomats tasked with overseeing the defective units were reached for their weapons, but then the servitors went still, just as abruptly, staring at his lordship with vacant eyes. All present held their breaths, disturbed by the sight. We waited for the Lord Captain to speak. His lordship Trakan von Valancius. I like the art. Scheduled for his engineer prime to study the servitors. The engineer prime slowly waded into the motionless ranks of the servitors, peering into their faces and checking their readings. There was no haste in Pascal's action. With mesmerizing diligence, he inspected every single unit in his path, and binary prayers were his companions in his investigation. The examination confirmed that the technomats' initial hypothesis, the servitor's soul, or rather the souls of the people they once were, had awakened. Not yet fully conscious of their past and present, this half machine could nonetheless feel primitive emotions and sensations such as fear and pain. This undesirable consequence of shoddily performed lobotomy is most rarely observed, and yet for some unknown reason it had occurred in every single one of the servitors gathered in the bay. That's interesting. That can't be a coincidence. Let's continue. All the present held. Okay. Let's demand a report on the defective unit status from the Technomats. The Technomats' long-winded and detailed report could have been summarized in a single key point. Despite the servitors' abnormal behavior, they were still quite capable of carrying out tasks, and therefore the circumstances did not call for their termination. Let's took several steps toward the servitors. Immediately the servitors, each and every one of them, stepped toward the Lord Captain in perfect fusion. They mimicked his movements with frightening precision. The rogue trader halted in place and after a moment's thought waved his hand, and the servitors just as synchronously repeated the gesture as well. When the Lord Captain turned quizzically to the Technomats, so did the servitors, as if mocking him. Whatever the Lord Captain did, be it an incline of the head, a wave of a hand, or a step to the side, the defective units repeated it without moment's delay or hesitation, like grotesque marionettes controlled by an unseen puppeteer. We observed this mime unfold in distressed bafflement for nearly a minute until the servitors finally came to a stop. Not sensing any threat from them, the rogue trader approached with confidence. The Lord Captain examined the servitors. As high factotum, it was I who had prompted that entire inspection, and thus it was my duty to follow the Lord Captain. As we stepped close, we noticed a fascinating irregularity. The servitors' pupils, normally still, were shaking wildly. Their bulging veins were pulsating under their copper collars, inscribed with their past offenses. It was as if those mindless half-machines were locked in a perpetual state of extreme tension. A visibly shaken Technomat behind us proposed that the human souls had awakened within the servitors' bodies after a long slumber deep within their lobotomized brains. Formerly bereft of intelligence, they had attained awareness, feeling, and understanding. After a pause, the Technomat added that the servitors used to function properly and that no one had been able to explain the change in their behavior. His gaze is still trained on the motionless but animate half machines and half people. The Lord Captain stepped away from the servitors. Let's check this one. Order that one of the servitors be disassembled and its components investigated. A group of Technomats hurried to act upon the Lord Captain's command. The servitor's mechanical parts separated with clicks, snaps, and hisses. The sutures between its wrinkled, pale flesh and its augments were laid disgustingly bare. We watched the Technomats to do their work and could see every centimeter of the servitor's stiff muscles abounding with holes and cavities, pierced by countless cords and tubes. The disassembled and analysis complete, the Technomats concurred. The unit was in working order. Nothing in the dissected body that lay before us could provide any insight into the reason behind the defects. I should make note of one more thing. At the moment, all of us present discovered that not just the eyes, but the hands and heads of some of the servitors were now shaking too. It was as if the mechanized servants were overcome with some primordial terror. Let's make a decision. His lordship looked at me with unwavering resolve, and it was that confidence that wrenched me out of the nightmarish stupor that had me tense observing the scene unfolding before me. The Lord Captain gave the order. Anyway, that was my thinking that we should destroy them. Because if they were functioning properly... Okay, so these people usually offenders, criminals who made into this to serve. But the point is that they don't have any more feelings, memories, nothing. And this is... see, the dogmatic would say that they have to serve their whole time, but I think nothing good came out of it. So to dispose the servitors so their human souls may be released from torment. The Lord Captain's command was executed post-haste. All defective units were incinerated in furnaces and their remains were expelled into the void. The crew was provided with replacement servitors and soon forgot all about the destroyed units' peculiarities, yet this incident haunts my memories to this day. With the fate of the defective servitors decided, nothing could now distract the Lord Captain from his mission. I like these journal segments of the game. But let's reach technology. You don't say anything. What's that? Oh, it's a servitor. And okay, but can't go there. And my friend said, who also plays the game, that we can talk to the others. And I want to talk to Sister Arganta. I can't remember her name, but I want to talk with her because she said she had a personal request, and I want to know what is that. Dira is there. Rich Technomat. But let's talk to Idira. When Idira sees you, her lips curve into a smile and she nods at something over your shoulder. Argenta. Yeah. You seem to have a very strong reaction to what Argenta said by the broken lens.
It was just my nerves playing up. Something about our little saint doesn't sit right with me, and I trust my gut. Oh sure, she seems straight as an arrow and as predictable as a hangover after drinking. But when I look at her, something about her makes my brain itch. After that conversation, I tried to listen to what was being said about her. Beyond the door, what I heard was strange. Blood in her past, twilight in her present, and something like a star leading her. But where is it leading her? I saw several roads, and all of them frightened me.
And what does it all mean?
If I knew, I would have told you. Hearing things clearly requires cooperation from the other person you know. But that cobra just hisses and spits its venom at me. I don't trust her one bit.
Do you think I should keep an eye on her?
It certainly wouldn't hurt. I'll keep a watch on her too. Ugh, if only I knew what it meant. Maybe it means danger for her. Or maybe danger coming from her.
Got a new story for me, Idira?
You bet I do, Lord Captain.
Idira becomes much more animated and her expression turns slightly dreamy as she recalls one of her stories.
Okay, so we went to Footfall once. Well, I mean, Lord Captain Theodora went to Footfall a lot. But on that occasion, she took me with her for some reason. My day had gotten off to a bad start. My head had been yammering since I woke up, but there was nothing else for it. I had to go. We arrived at the place, and what a place! All the gentlemen and ladies dressed to kill, showing off their encrusted implants, all clustered around little tables. Well, turned out it was a gaming den. And not just any gaming den, but one run by somebody with deep pockets for people with just as much cash to splash. You should have seen it. People gambling away planets in a game of regicide. Anyway, so the Lord Captain wanted me to help her beat some guy. So I tell her, the chips won't land in your favor. You'll get a bad hand. Don't sit down at that table, your ladyship. But did she listen? Of course she didn't. If there's one thing she never lacked, it's stubbornness.
I like that these are voice acted. It really feels if we can talk to her.
So they sat down and the cards were dealt. I'm hovering around like I'm not involved, but I'm keeping my eye on things. And everything in my head keeps getting louder and louder. Anyway, it's a good thing I realized in time that my mind wasn't going haywire over a losing hand, but something else. I made some excuse to drag the Lord Captain up from the table and took her away from that place. And a few minutes later, the room where we'd been... It turned out some wise guy had the same bright idea to bring a pet psyker along with him. One of those ones who just scuttle around in Footfall's underbelly. And the psyker just freaked out, I guess. After all the commotion, people went to see what happened in the room. And they'd all gone for each other's throats. Literally. With teeth. And I think they completely detached that asteroid from Footfall and pushed it off into open space so it would head off toward the local star.
Okay, I think we will get back to Irida every time we can.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
And hearing one of her stories. Because it is entertaining. So, can we talk to the sister somewhere? Somehow? Ah, here's Pascal. Let's talk to him.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
Pascal, shrouded in a crimson robe, greets you with a soft voice synthesized by the voices. The mechatendrites groaning out of factories' backs swivel in your direction as if examining with curiosity. I want to know more about your past.
The request is approved. I have no outright restrictions on disclosing this information.
Where are you from?
Information about my origins is worthless. I belong to the priesthood of explorators and came to the Coronis Expanse over 200 years ago. Any events preceding that moment are insignificant.
If you say so. How did you end up in the Cronus Expanse?
I was honored to become a member of the Explorator Cognizance Fleet. When the Adeptus Mechanicus summoned the faithful for an exploratory venture into the depths of the Coronis Expanse, I joined the fleet in fulfillment of my sacred vows of comprehension.
Why are you not with the fleet then?
Archmagus Amanat, my blessed mentor, commanded me to crew the orbital station Alta Templum Calixis EXT-17. This venerable temple station was founded in the early years of our expansion into the Coronis Expanse. It is currently a rear observation post of the Cognizance Fleet in orbit around the star Furibundus.
Who are the explorators?
The sacred fraternity of explorers. The the cult Mechanica sent us out to the frontiers of the known sectors as researchers and conquerors. We are the warriors of the code, who return to the lost worlds and devote themselves to recovering the lost ancient knowledge. Explorators are granted the privilege of being more independent than many of our tech comrades. However, it has earned us a reputation as unstable and poorly controlled troublemakers whose unorthodox views are dangerously close to apostasy.
Tell me about your Mechatan rights.
They are my younger brothers and guides on the way to the Omnissiah. Their machine spirits are directly bound to my neocortex and pick up impulses from my subconscious. Sometimes they act ahead of my thoughts. This is how the Omnissiah leads me to comprehension.
That's interesting. I thought the tech priest controlled the Mechatan rights, but this explanation is also very cool. You can stop there.
Acknowledged.
Tell me more about the Adeptus Mechanicus.
I am honored to belong to the priesthood of Mars, guided by its tenets. We safeguard technology against the impure and the unenlightened.
Why did you mention Mars?
That is where the cult of the Omnissiah originated, and where we were granted the first revelations. Many millennia ago, we made an alliance with the Emperor of Terra and have served the Imperium ever since, paying a tribute of machinery, weapons, and void ships. Everything that bears the blessed seal of machinery comes from our hands, and it is we who make sure the operating rituals are performed as they were meant to. We are everywhere. We are the Mars-forged steel bars that give the Imperium strength.
What do you mean guarded? It's not buried treasure, it's not a secret.
It is both a treasure and a secret. Technology is how the divinity of the Omnissiah manifests itself in this world. This is why the uninitiated may only be allowed to touch the most vulgar and mundane of its instances. We, on the other hand, are authorized to use the sacred catechism of maintenance and operation. Although there is another reason to deny lay people the sacrament of knowledge, it can be dangerous. Twisted by renegades, the Omnissiah's wisdom is called heretic, and the exposure to it may corrupt the uninitiated. Another danger is knowledge strangely interpreted and inscrutably twisted by the minds of the Xenos. This bane is called xenotech.
Banning things you cannot understand is the opposite of seeing knowledge. Technology is merely a tool that can be employed without risk by a wise wielder.
That is a bold hypothesis. And yet the Omnissiah teaches us that a dauntless mind can penetrate any knowledge through analysis, where the ignorant see heresy, the enlightened might see truth.
Do you hold a high position in your fraternity? Of course, he's a Magos.
This elective indicates that I am a Magos, who has mastered the sacraments of many spheres of knowledge, and has the right to conduct services in a forged cathedral.
What is the Omnissiah in your understanding? Now that's an interesting question.
He is the divine mechanism, the maker of technology. The universe was made to resemble a mechanical marvel because the Omnissiah rules over it. Knowledge is the highest form that he uses to manifest in the world. For now. Someday, he will come to this world in the absolute fullness of his splendor.
And here's the thing, that they are not worshipping the Emperor. Sometimes in the Warhammer 40k they said the Omnissiah is just another name of the Emperor, but I believe that the tech priests worship a different thing. And I also remember somebody somewhere said it was a Necron deity, maybe. I don't remember about that part very much.
The Adeptus Mechanicus worship the Emperor. He is the earthly manifestation of the Omnissiah.
Here's
who
what I'm
brought
sure.
humanity into the light of divine grace.
Okay. What is behind the Adeptus Mechanicus enthusiasm for replacing flesh with augmentations? Well, I think the Adeptus Mechanicus game's intro is the answer, but let's see what Magos Pascal think about it.
Organic tissue is an imperfect replica of the machine, transient and vulnerable. Metal is more stable, more effective, and more durable. Flesh speak is flawed next to barbaric language. Meat begets weakness. It softens the mind and undermines discipline. But you can replace metal when it wears down. In addition, a machine is a supreme form of knowledge, and by assuming mechanical form, we become closer to the Omnissiah. However, like all things sacred, our augmentations must not be defiled by the eyes of the ignorant, which is why we reveal only the crudest of tools, while holier mechanisms remain concealed beneath our crimson robes.
Well, we came from a forge word, so I think that's the appropriate one. I'm curious to see your augmentations.
The right to witness the miracle of flesh being fused with holy metal is granted only to those who have ascended to the rank of initiate. However, your lofty status of rogue trader allows me to make a partial exception and reveal my sacred stigmata.
Pascal reverently parts the robe scarlet folds on his chest. You see emaciated white meat gnawed through by metallic shunts and flexible wires. Blood runs through transparent pipes enriched with nutrients required by the polyp flesh. The sight of a body transformed into an appendage to an incredibly complex mechanism built using unfathomable ancient blueprints is mesmerizing. Every component of this machine serves the dual purpose of preserving life in Pascal's fragile flesh and preventing all threats to his well-being. The Omnissiah has been generous to you. His creation is keeping you safe from death.
The Omnissiah has been generous to you too. He has granted you understanding.
Pascal looks at you with respect. He seems surprised that you recognize the purpose of the augmentation impaled in his body. You have a strange way of speaking. Is that because of the augmentation, or does your fate dictate how you should express yourself?
Partially true. I had a voice modulator implanted alongside the respiratory purification module, but there is an additional reason. Gothic is not my first language. I am used to thinking and making statements in lingua technis. The binaric language is more informative, more ergonomic, and less prone to misinterpretation.
The collection of dialects used by the Mechanicus and the factories can be used as a spoken language, but through the burst of machine code I have no more questions.
Acknowledged.
Or I have more questions. I have some questions about your visit to Ricard Minoris.
The request is approved. I am ready to provide the necessary information.
What brought to you Ricard Minoris?
I came heeding the call of my mentor, the blessed Archmagus Amanat. We were supposed to meet on Ricard Minoris and discuss my mission.
The people who wanted to kill you at the port weren't renegades. It was just a cover.
Thank you. Information acknowledged. I will analyze it and take additional security measures.
What do you think of this Abel Unemon?
I propose that it was the blessed Amonat who assumed this name. This name is assigned to me. His presence in the hands of heretics is categorically unacceptable. The canon of technological security commands that every effort be made to rescue a high-ranking bearer of knowledge.
That will be all for now.
Acknowledged.
I must take my leave.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
This is another door we can escape. Can go out. So I don't know where can we go and talk to the sister. Oh, maybe down here. We haven't been here. There's the Master Helmsman, and there's Argenta. Or Argenta.
Rogue trader.
Sister Argenta looks tired. There are dark circles under her eyes. Her hair is somewhat disheveled, and she moves like she's little on edge. Tell me about the other Tesoritas. Let's get over with the introductions.
Gladly. There are none more faithful to the God Emperor than my sisters. We fight against his enemies by the will of the Holy Ecclesiarchy. We... I beg your pardon, Rogue Trader. Here I am talking about what every lesser noble in the Imperium knows. So what exactly are you interested in hearing about?
They say that the other Tesoritas are the fiercest in their faith among the warriors of the Imperium. Is it true?
It is. The Sisters of Battle are a fire lit by the God Emperor. They are the echo of his voice that travels through the dark expanses of the universe. We bring his wrath to heretics, mutants, and other enemies of humanity. We protect the faithful from the unholy and unhallowed. Sometimes with words, more often than not with a bolter.
Are our sisters truly as faultless as you say?
Even the novices, the Adeptus Sororitas, are drawn from among the most worthy. Those who have taken the vows and become a full-fledged sister are the best of the best, tested by trials of body and spirit. Yes, there have been cases when a sister stumbled or showed weakness. But do not expect to hear a story of depravity or downfall from me.
Yeah, they have Pantheon squads, something like that, where they had to atone for some sins and they have to go into battle without armor and just having swords. At least the tabletop has a unit like that.
Each such occurrence is a great tragedy for us all. Light cannot bear the smallest speck of darkness within. And thus those who have trespassed or shown weakness of spirit are given a chance at redemption. They are called Sisters Repentia, and may the enemy tremble before her, for nothing can stop a sister of battle who yearns to be cleansed of fault and weakness.
That's what I was thinking about the Repentia squad. Okay.
Wearing nothing but robes, no armor, eviscerator in hand, Those sisters who have once faltered find repentance on the battlefield. Their lives are seldom long, but a death in the name of purgation is a better fate than to live with a shadow in one's soul.
What order are you from?
Once I had completed my novitiate, I was sent to the Calixian branch of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, assigned to the Order's Pronatus. The Order's mission is vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect great relics of the Imperium. We guard them, preserve them, escort them when they are brought onto the battlefield or presented for pilgrims to venerate. And we seek out the relics that have been lost. Neither a coven of heretics nor the most wicked death world can deter Sisters Pronatus when their goal is to return a piece of the great legacy of the Imperium into the hands of the faithful.
The Order Pronatus is not one of the Order's militant, and yet you are a trained fighter.
Don't let the name deceive you. The Order's militant trains sisters to march onto the battlefield as an army. That does not make sisters who belong to the non-militant orders timid and helpless. Both the solace-bringing Sisters Hospitaller and the enlightened Sisters Dialogus know how to greet enemies of humanity. Their dialogue with heretics is usually quite short, with the last word being a bolter discharge.
Nice.
And my order has all the more reason to be known for the martial prowess of its sisters. We are the keepers of the Imperium's relics. What would become of our blessed hero's legacy if the Sisters Pronatus could not protect it?
You say you belong to the Calixian branch of your order. What brought you to the Kronos Expanse?
The Order sent me to Footfall. My undertaking was to assist the local priesthood of Drusians in caring for a sacred reliquary that had been there since the time of Parsimus Duane, the station's founder.
Are there any other members of the other sororities in the Kronos Expanse?
None that I'm aware of, but the Sisterhood's orders are many, and can operate independently of one another, sending their sisters wherever their presence is needed as deemed by the Ecclesiarchy. Perhaps somewhere in the Lord Inquisitor's retinue, may his path be blessed, my sisters perform their duty as we speak. I wish it were so. Even a single evening spent in joint prayer and training would bring me joy.
I have no more question about the sister.
Should any more arise, keeping them to yourself would be imprudent. It is a virtue to take an interest in holiness.
Tell me about yourself.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
How did you end up on Theodora's ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the pirate attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, while her crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I'd barely recovered from my wounds when the pirates struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
What happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
You mentioned making a mistake.
It happens even to the best of us. My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
Where did this happen?
on one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
She's a bit too mighty, but at least she wants to seem as a mighty and powerful and without any fault, and that could cause her downfall. What is it like traveling on Theodora's ship?
I hadn't been here that long. Just one journey from Footfall, and the other journey, the majority of which I spent in the confines of the medbay. I can't tell you much about the first voyage. I was more focused on prayers and ruminations than on the people around me, or the journey itself. During the last journey, Seneschal Viserion stood out for me. He came by several times to ask about my health. He's an honorable man and a loyal servant of the Imperium. I think he is as meticulous in his inspections of the logistics systems as he is in his inquiries about the health of the occasional sister of battle aboard the ship. But not all of Theodora's people have earned my trust. You know who I'm talking about. There is no place for Adira Tlas among the God Emperor's faithful. I'm surprised she wasn't in league with the pirates. And I'm equally surprised by how deep heresy and treason run in this place. I'm glad we all made it through that dark hour. May the day that follows be bright.
We could offer that we go back, but I don't want to make that offer. Not just yet. I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
As you wish.
What is it that keeps me in my retinue?
This ship was targeted by heretical pirates, which means that my presence here and the assistance I provide to you are my sacred duty. Sooner or later, I will likely have to return to Footfall to protect its reliquary. But for now, I wish to remain a part of the rogue trader's crew.
It pleases me to have a servants of the Golden Throne in my crew. May the enemies of the Imperium tremble before. Maybe we can only choose one. That's more of an iron quest and direct approach than this. After all, we are a crime lord. I enjoy your company, Argent. I hope that you remain in the crew and this ship becomes your home.
Those are very courteous words, rogue trader. Thank you, both for your words and your hospitality.
You say you have a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, rogue trader.
The accursed servants of chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned my many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their post until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in one Valancius territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls would expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the rogue trader could meet with the orphans. I will meet them, no formality is needed. These are the children of people who gave their lives for the one Valancius dynasty. My consideration is the least they deserve. I will pass on your instruction. Thank you for taking my request to heart. see this. It plays out. Not many children. The motley group of adolescents did not take their eyes off you, gazing at you as if you were a creature straight from a fairy tale. Wow, that's a word. Or indefatigable sister has been keeping an eye on these pups. Abelard glances at the gathered children. It is hardly the school of Progenium in here, but we have provided the orphans on our ship with adequate care and instructions. Argenta is standing to the side of the group. At your approach, she perks up and announces, her voice ringing. Brave ones, the master of this ship has appeared before you. The one who guides it through the darkness of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet your royal captain, the rogue trader of House Voloncius. I, the rogue trader, the lord captain of this ship, speak to you now. Your parents gave their lives for a just cause and brought honor to the von Valancius banners and those of the Imperium. I am proud of them, and I believe that you will become their worthy heirs. The teenagers hang on your every word with bated breath. Only a few at the far end of the row seem sullen and not practically impressed by your speech. One of the scowling visitors with a thin scar across his face tosses his head back and says bitterly, "So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens for you noble lot. And you just give us speeches?" Argenta quickly turns to the boy. A fury of emotions flashes in her dark eyes, like she wants both to calm him and scold him for his impudence. If you have things to say them without fear. I will listen. The boy smiles grimly. It doesn't matter what we say, it won't bring our parents back, and it won't change our fates either. We'll keep slaving away on this ship until we drop and die like our folks, or worse. I understand your grief and dismay. Your parents died. It's not an easy thing to go through, but they give their lives for the truth, for the good of the whole ship, for the Imperium. Do not speak of their honorable fate with anger and disdain. You heard the rogue trader. His words carry the wisdom of the Imperium. It's hard to say whether or not your words have left an impression on the boy, but he nods slowly. Then he catches himself and gives you an awkward bow. Abelard gives a sign, and the servants immediately emerge carrying package trees with von Valancius emblazoned on the wrappers. It appears that the seneschal came prepared for any contingency. Argent rubs her temple pensively. She smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. Well, that was interesting. Your parents died, but there you go, treats. Of course, in that situation, there's nothing much can be done. If we had a priest on board, that would help, maybe. And maybe an offer to them that they can leave the ship at any port if they want to. Okay, does
Captain?
Alabard have anything to say? You may call me by my first name if you wish.
I thank you for the honor, but I must decline. As a former military officer, I believe in the importance of order in all things, including the chain of command. You are the Lord Captain, my direct superior. I am not prepared to address you in any way other than as regulation dictates.
Okay, I just popped in my mind. Have you guys seen Firefly? Then you know that the chain of command could be a funny thing.
Lord Captain.
Okay. Now let's see the map. And we decide where to go. Well, we are here. We have already been to the starport. We have a bunker and we have the electrodynamic cenobium. I think we will go the electrodynamic cenobium because I want to help out Pascal and find his mentor. Because I play this character who is really interested in the mechanicus affairs. Since he came from a forge world and he has high tech skills, and I want to be with very good terms with Pascal, especially that he is the chief engineer on the ship and he has to run a lot of things. Now let's see. Should reach the reactor. Recover the landing area, your lordship. Glory to the von Valancius dynasty. Okay, before we go anywhere, we have bought new stuff. The various loading points depend on fellowship. Maybe.
That's not the Seneschal's job.
Oh, it's instead of the helmet. Then we don't put it on. Oh, can we have this helmet? No, we can't. The wear of this helmet gains bonus percent on the other grants. So it would weaken his armor. No, it increases with 1%. Okay. Chainmail. It's a better armor. So let's put that on him. Heavy leather. Okay, and I believe we bought a plasma pistol. Oh, it takes into consideration if we can use the weapon or not. Nice. What? He has only one. Oh, he has 2 weapon slots. But Pascal doesn't have a secondary slot. Interesting. Let's check on the good sister. Can we upgrade her? Oh, we have more chainmail. Now let's put that on her. And put a flame pistol in her hand. And we have a Psyker's body glove. It's the same. The wearer ignored the first critical hit damage in combat. Where's armor property? Okay, let's put that her on. It increases the dodge. Okay, let's keep that on her. Multi scope. Grant pass time from E and 2 cell radius. I don't think that's that important. About us. Oh, we have medpacks. So let's equip our medics with medpacks. What's that? Whenever the wearer of these gloves gets an injury or falls unconscious in combat, their allies gain +1 bonus to damage. Let's put that on her. Let's put a chainsword in her hand. We have some kind of... Whenever the wearer kills 2 or more enemies with a single attack, the attack doesn't spend. I think this shoe is for her, because with the staff she can kill a lot of attack. Multi-key. She's got the last pistol. But she has a very, very good dodge chance, so I think she will rely on that. What's that? Oh! Let's put that cloak on her. Alright, I think we are ready to go.
Have a backup plan.
Over.
Judging by the dead people's equipment, they were the same guards the governor sent to the monastery's aid. Whoa! And finally we see some mechanical statues. What's here? Wow.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Wow. This looks amazing.
Whatever is just a temporary
The
setback.
computation altar is surrounded by great numbers of candles and commoners' measly offerings.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust. Let us not dawdle.
Okay, what's that? Open the gate. Don't open the gate, not just yet. Okay, I just can't
Keep
get
your
enough
wits
of
about you.
the game design. Look at the details. The manhike him awakens the gate's latching mechanism. Okay, let's get inside. And I suspect that we will find trouble inside. Oh, when shooting in a burst, the hit chance of all shots after the first is reduced by the recoil parameter of the weapon. Okay, that's a good information. We will check that on Argenta's bolter. We have more dead bodies. The heretics were killed safely and ruthlessly. They never had time to reach for their weapons. Can I have their weapon then?
I always keep my options open.
You note that the wire junctions are often marked with the symbol of a key appears to connect two lines. Maybe later that
I
becomes
always
relevant.
have a backup plan.
From the maladies of machine spirits and the ways of diagnostic divination. Are those doors?
Is there money to be made?
Over there!
Okay, what's that? The cultists were killed with a hit to the back from some kind of electric weapon. Oh, the electro priests. They paid a high price.
Rise to
coming
the
here.
top, or get left in the dust.
We shall be purified by the ocean. Something.
I'll make an example out of you.
What? They ambushed us? Pascal, buddy, say something. Dodge, armor, reflection.
You never stood a chance.
Nice shot.
Weak yet iron knows no pain.
No, we except there.
Explorators know one route. Forward. The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
The opposite next turn. Last also voice can be a possible. Don't have enough exploits for that, so or we do. We have exploit. Okay, how many actions? 2 for it. Brutal strike. All creatures. Increase bleeding. Let's use this one. What? Others seem to be bleeding on the target, but depends on weapons. Can no longer use abilities on the that's fine.
Embrace you, machine spirit.
And let's use this one.
Prognosis is favorable.
Brush this off.
My ears are ringing.
And they are all they're healing each other. So we are using the dash.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
What's the recoil on this weapon? We don't know. Okay. Not, at least not from here. %50 hit chance. Why?
What is this foreboding?
Let's put more export
What a
marks on
core.
that piece. And let's shout into that.
On it.
Oh, this is also became wounded. Nice.
Damage to bulk.
Alright, they are on a prime spot for having a grenade.
I will do my duty.
Or enemy. Maybe an
At your
injury.
beck and call. Victory is
Nice. Whoa, I forget about that.
I'll see to it personally.
More hit chance, but not more damage. Let's use the surefire plan and try to kill this one.
It's as good as done.
Not quite. 9. The axe is better, so let's use the axe.
My vows, significant value.
I've faced worse than this.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
No, I don't want to do that. So how about we change weapons? Go there and hit her with the chainsaw. Or hit him with the chainsaw. That won't be enough. And it parried. Okay. Alright, our Argento is not a close combat expert. So how about just scream at him? The wheel is still okay. Yeah. That's strange. That's okay, these guys are protecting this place, but they should have recognized Pascal. Can do nothing here.
Let us not dawdle.
We cannot go there, at least not from here. And I hope, okay, we are not trapped.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Yes, that's a door. Let's check the other side of the room. Mercifully, quick electric shock was not what killed this cultist. His face is controlled in pain as he was tortured. Okay, I think not the heretics are the problem here. There are no wounds on the heretic's body, but his face is controlled in terror and his eyes are bloodshot from ruptured vessels. Alright, let's open Sesame.
I'm not satisfied with that answer. I will repeat my question again. The last electro priest you killed, where did you find him?
Burn in the fire of dawn, servant of the corpse!
And another one meets the limit of his utility. The last of them.
The tall, dark-haired man seizes you up with a quick glance. A supernatural chill is making the air around him crackle softly. The expensive fabric of his jacket is stitched with gold thread and marked by several reddish-brown stains. A foresword and a vox hang from his belt, and the emblem of the Holy Inquisition glitters on his chest. Interrogator Van Kalox, I presume?
Yes. Since you know who I am, and are in no hurry to kill me, I infer that you serve the Emperor, not his enemies. Allow me to introduce myself. Interrogator Heinrich van Kalox of the Imperial Inquisition's esteemed Ordo Xenos. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Ordo Xenos. That's interesting. We have no evidence of Xenos threats on this system. Xenos is everybody who is not Imperial or heretic. So basically orcs, Necrons, Eldars, Dark Eldars, or Drukhari as of late.
Shadow. A great big sun-eclipsing, chain-weaving shadow. I can see the threads, myriads of them extending toward us all, and all of them creeping off toward him like snakes, shrouding us in poison. My, oh my, do I sense trouble, and it's right in my throat. It itches.
Puff of black smoke comes out of the Psyker's mouth and dissipates at once. I think they won't be good friends.
A Psyker? Interesting. And a diviner at that. Even more interesting. Are you sanctioned?
Don't you Inquisition me! I'm under the Rogue Trader's protection!
Idira is a member of my personal retinue and is under my protection.
Your retinue, you say? Then let's go back to my previous question. With whom do I have the honor of speaking?
Rogue Trader Srakhan von Valancius.
Von Valancius? To the best of my knowledge, that dynasty is headed by the esteemed Theodora von Valancius. Has there been a change of circumstances?
Theodora is dead, slain in the battle by enemies of humanity.
The news is lamentable. My condolences. And I presume the heir to the sacred warrant of trade and the lofty title of Rogue Trader is none other than yourself. Well then, what precisely has brought you to the sanctum of the Omnissiah?
I am here to collect you. I am under orders from the Lord Inquisitor to offer any assistance you may require, after which I am to provide you safe passage to footfall aboard my ship.
Then the timing of our meeting is fortuitous. I am requisitioning you and your retinue for my task.
Requisitioning? Young man, your choice of words is unseemly to the point of insult. You're addressing a rogue trader.
Oh, hold there, Abelard. I'm not agree with the guy, but let him speak.
I don't imagine you'll be any happier if I say taking into inquisitorial custody. I came to Rykad Minoris on a mission, which a rebellion prevented me from fulfilling. The governor is convinced that malcontents from among the rabble were the instigators, but I immediately suspected a more sinister presence at the root of the mutiny. My visit to the monastery and a few unhurried conversations with some of the rebels confirmed my suspicions. Someone by the name of Aurora is leading the rebellion. Data indicates that the head of the cultists is here right now, in the sanctum of the ancient reactor. Given the prophecy of the final dawn, and the special efforts made by the enemies of humanity to seize the monastery, their goal is to gain access to the holy power source's control circuit and trigger a process that, once started, cannot be stopped. In other words, to detonate the reactor, thus being themselves the cause of their much-touted final dawn.
Blasphemous insanity.
The tech priest reserves flashed and turns bloody scarlet. A soft hum of some activating system is heard from under his robe. What did you do to him?
I convinced him to cooperate. I can influence living bodies, and I find that the interrogated are much more eager to share information once the blood starts to boil in their veins.
Precisely what were you doing at the monastery?
I arrived here with an escort squad, only to lose it in our very first open skirmish. The monastery is swarming with heretics. The soldiers I requisitioned from the governor fell in battle, bled to death, or deserted. I had to make do with catching and forcefully interrogating individual rebels. It is from them that I learned what I relayed to you just now.
I can help you with Aurora. Let's join forces.
Thank you. Regrettably, the governor's people showed themselves to be unprepared for the perils of this place. And extracting blade shards from a person's stomach is beyond my powers. I hope that a rogue trader's retinue will prove more capable than a group of soldiers fresh off the base. I am positive that not all of the electro-priests within these walls have perished. The heretics spoke of shadows emerging from side alleys to make short work of the cultists invading their abode. I surmise that the entrance to their hiding place is somewhere in the hall, near a machine known as the Circular Cogitator. I imagine it's one of the local sacred relics which the electro-priests treat with special piety.
Game of the final door. Reach the reactor. Okay guys, but we will do that in the next episode, and we will do the level up with the Inquisitor or the Interrogator next time, because I think it will be quite long. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please, if you do, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down there, and I see you in the next one. Bye.